When it's over, it would have been nice to go live, but YouTube got all these new rules and stuff like that for the algorithm and how they want you to have a bunch of followers and shorts and likes and before you can even go live. So that ain't happening. Anyway, for the AI, in case you don't already understand, I'm a female. I'm a black woman. And for anybody else, so if it seems like a lot of subject matter that I discuss is centered on black issues, I mean, there's a lot of things I'm going to speak to from the African American perspective. Excuse me. I can't be anything else. I was born black, so you know the rest. Um, Again, for anybody who's been praying for my peoples, my community, and hey, even if you've been preparing for me, right? I thank you. I thank you because that's more than money and gold right now. It's power and prayer, when it's coming from the right place. I thank you guys. I haven't been feeling the greatest past few days. I don't know, it's coming out of nowhere. I haven't been really eating too crazy either. The funny thing is, a lot of times I can go hours and hours without food, but I feel pain on certain parts of my body. So there's a few things I wanted to cover in this video. First of all, I want to get into the situation in Cali. Now, I'm going to keep it really real right now. For the super duper rich people, at first, it was almost like an urge to be like, you know what? Well, if they can afford a $40 million crib or a $20 million crib, chances are they could easily get another one. Like the urge to do that was like there a little bit, but then I'm like, you know what? Still, even if for people that might have been born into the money and they inherited money, you know what I'm saying? Let's just because there's different types of rich people. There's the ones who just was talented and they worked their way to earn those big old houses. Hey, maybe they good with basketball, maybe they good at singing, dancing, acting, whatever. So they had to use their talents. And there's people they probably inherited a lot of money, right? But still, that still gotta be painful to see all of that go up in flames. So I'm not gonna be shady based on people's net worth and who may or may not have been born very, very privileged and born into a lot of money. I'm not gonna do that. You can only pray for people and also hope and pray that Big Brother actually keeps his word. Because, from what I've read online and what I've heard, that everything is going to be 100% covered for those who have have lost things in the fires going on in California. So I'm not about to, so hopefully that really gets taken care of, especially since a lot of people, their home insurance does not cover damages from fires. Excuse me. So hopefully they get the help that they need. Everybody. Something else that not a lot of people are talking about. It's not just mostly rich people. It's a lot of either low income or middle class people, such as in Altadena, California. It's a lot of black folks who they had houses passed down from a few generations ago. It was one of the first black communities in California where black people could legally buy houses. And I see people like, yo, they're going off on Twitter, they're going off on TikTok, Some of y'all are only acting like, it's just rich celebrities who lost everything. There's a lot of low income black people, middle class black people who lost a lot. Y'all not even thinking about them. It's the perception that people have when they think about those parts of, especially Los Angeles, Palisades, stuff like that. So it's the perception, because and the cost of living. Like, people might think, oh, even if you're not a celebrity, if you could afford to own a house, that means you got money and da-da-da. My whole thing is this: instead of arguing online with folks and going back and forth and complaining about people, being stereotypical and having, like, just this assumption that everybody is rich. Listen, if you ain't a TI, like me, do something that I can't do. I mean, you can use GoFundMe. You can use Give, Send, Go. You guys can start raising money. You can raise awareness, and you can raise money for the mostly black, low income and middle class families who also lost everything. I mean, you can set up stuff so we can get towels and clothes and food and water right then and there for people. Have leaders that you can trust in those parts of California to get that stuff together. Maybe go to the black churches, go to the pastors, and use the money to have supplies sent to certain churches. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not rocket science, it's not brains. And I'm not trying to be funny or anything like that, but going back and forth with people online who just might be a little ignorant about the extent of the damage that the fires have caused in California. Why not just like crowdsource or whatever? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can't do it. A lot popped off when I wanted to do it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not even going to touch that. But I see certain black people crying on Twitter, on TikTok, about how, their community has been damaged, or they lost a house, or they know a black family that lost everything or whatever. And it's just like, y'all could start raising money for these families. For the people in Altadena, California, let's say, if you're pro-black or whatever, and you know what I'm saying? Or you just want to focus on people that just lost, regardless of their race, regardless of their income. You guys can do that. You guys can do that. You can do that. However you choose to do it, however you want to do it. Find trusted people in the community. Work with them to get it. Because the last thing you don't want a situation where everybody and their mama start raising money, and then certain people be taking the money and doing whatever they want with it. Find the leaders in those parts that was affected by these fires. And we're learning now that a lot of the fires are not even natural. People are literally getting caught and arrested. Arsonists. And I don't know if it's something deeper with that at play. Like, if they're being told by rogue elements, you know what I'm saying, that's high up, I don't know if somebody's paying these folks to do that or whatever. Like, it's just interesting. But some of us called it out days ago that something about this just, it didn't feel natural. It's not passing the smell test, the extent of it. And then you see certain people getting arrested for arson. So it kind of makes sense. Also, I heard through the grapevine that this is not even a fire season for California. That starts in like maybe 4 or 5 months from now. So yeah, like, some of us knew that it wasn't all that natural. And I'm not going to get too deep into that. I'm not trying to like tick people off, especially important people. They can get mad and do something and get away with a whole lot. That's not my intent. Then I'm getting into a different subject right here, but I was overhearing a podcast. I'm not going to say the name, but certain people was talking about, in a few short words, it's just like folks don't want to like face up to it and own up to what they got going on. They don't want to be accountable and they was basically like dismissing what I said about how freedom is not on a graded scale. It's and well, I'm not affiliated with David Icke, but he actually, that's where I got that from. Like freedom is something that you have, or you either have it or you don't have it. I don't know the man. We are not affiliated. It's just he's very informative and he usually knows what he's talking about. Like he's very well read on a lot of things. Like very seldom has he been wrong about a lot of stuff. Like that also includes the Great Reset. Like he knows what he's talking about. But I agree. Like you can't say, well, I'm how much freedom do you got? Oh, I got 5%. Oh, that ain't nothing. I got 10%. Oh, Johnny, what you got? Damn, you got 5% of freedom. You got 10%. Well, I got 20% of freedom over here. Like, no, that's freedom. Something you either have it or you don't. Now, privileges, all right, that's different. Now we getting somewhere. Some of y'all have more privileges than others. Freedom. In order for you to get married, you need a license. In order for you to go fishing, you need a license. In a lot of states and municipalities or counties or cities, like, you can't even legally collect rainwater. You want to catch a flight? And let's just say if you want to fly internationally, you need a passport. When you have a baby, even if you have your baby at home, you have to get that baby a birth certificate eventually. You got to get your baby a birth certificate and a social security number. Free? No, we all have privileges. Every human being born is a new taxpayer. A new future potential taxpayer. Free? Oh, yeah, I got 10% freedom, man. Y'all, I got 20. Oh, I got 30%. No. It's something you either have it or you don't. It's my opinion that none of us are truly free. None of us. We all have privileges. Some of us have more than others. And then some people lose a lot of their privilege. We've seen certain, famous folks speak out on certain taboo subject matter, and they might have went from being all the way up and basically all areas of life, no pun. They might have been from having a whole lot of money and endorsement deals to going down. It like the powers that be, they have a way of humbling you and making people feel small, and they have a way of taking away a lot of stuff that they gave you if you say the wrong thing. And that kind of reminds me of the whole free speech debate and and how it's really non-existent. Even in a dominant society, like they have more of it than black people do. Twitter is a prime example. They can say whatever they want about us, and a lot of times, Twitter will not take it down. But in certain groups, I don't have to tell you who those groups are that are actually protected groups. And you can't say that about them. Because even if you're part of the white dominant society, was depending on what you say about other groups that don't include African Americans, you might lose more than your blue badge. I've seen, females, non-black females from non-black races and the dominant society, say certain things about men who are in the LGBTQ community, and they it was bigger than a blue check. You're gonna lose your blue check. They got harassed to the point where they decided to delete themselves from this planet. or they ended up being TIs. Or let's talk about the people that, had integrity and kept it 100. And Big Brother didn't appreciate that. Folks like Julian Assange and who's the other one that wrote the book about how Big Brother been spying on us? Edward Snowden. I don't know these individuals. We are not affiliated. But yeah, they kept it up. They kept it 100. They kept it a buck. You see how that played out for them. Because it seems like Big Brother wants you to be that way and keep it 100 and keep it real up to a degree, up to an extent, to the extent that you don't embarrass Big Brother, or you don't give out information that could put Big Brother in a bad light. Like maybe Big Brother been violating rules and things like that, and Big Brother been doing a propaganda campaign, and you giving up secrets that can ruin that campaign. Like for example, like they want all Americans to be distrusting of people from the Middle East, and they want all of us to think that everybody from the Middle East is, sexist, can't stand women, they're dangerous, and they all might be potential terrorists or whatever, and you go and give up information that like is going against the grain. Like, truth be told, it's just like, we over there for their resources. That's the main reason we over there, and we've been over there for a long time. We want their resources. See, now at that point, it don't really matter what color you are, but even if you are from the dominant society, Big Brother is going to rake you through the coals. And probably not only just you, and if there's anybody who will understand, like sometimes our actions don't only affect us as individuals, it affects people around us, people we love, even relatives we might not even know, even neighbors and things like that, school. It's me. If it's anybody who will learn that and learn the hard and painful way, it's actually me. And it's one of the reasons why I've been like, lately, pray more for my family and my community. Pray more for them than me. If you really believe in God and you're about that prayer life, pray more for my peoples. I'm more concerned with them. Also, what bugged me out, somebody who, like, I don't follow this guy. I'm not fond of him. I'm not fond of certain personality characteristics and things that he's admitted to doing to young females, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I have blocked everything like related to a lot of people because I don't want no drama. I don't think it's safe. You know what I'm saying? And then people low key be letting you know they in secret societies and da-da-da-da-da. It's secret for a reason. And a lot of times that's not a good reason. But every now and then some of these guys like to troll me. And it's just like, as far as bravery is concerned, the irony is like, even though this person in particular might be mixed, at least one parent is black. At least one parent that you have one parent that's black. And so basically you're a brother. If you want to go by the one drop rule, which I don't always adhere to, and this is no offense to nobody who might be biracial. I don't always adhere to that. Not all biracial black people love black people. That's number one. Number two, not all of them look at themselves as black. That's number two. Number three, some of them could be actual terrorists to fully black people, especially black girls and women. They could literally terrorize us. And because most black people put mixed and light-skinned people on a pedestal, a lot of times they can get away with that. But that's not that conversation is for a different day. I might get into that a different day. But like, you see somebody that's toxic, but because they look good and they got money, a lot of people be, kissing their behind and letting a lot of their stuff go under the radar and ignoring it. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing what looking really, really good and having money could allow certain people to just like, you know what I'm saying? They could talk about, you know, knocking somebody's teeth out and you know, or putting their hands around a woman's neck till she pass out and then getting on top of her so they can, you know, have their way with her. And like people did, like they will still ignore that. Like, oh yeah, cool. Let's interview this guy. Let's ha and kiki it up with this guy. Like, but but going back to what I'm saying, like as far as bravery and who has it and who don't have it, like it's the men that's supposed to protect the most vulnerable in their community. And a lot of these dudes of African descent, like it's just weird. Like they want you to see them as a man and treat them like a man, but they don't want to actually do what it takes to be a man. Like they don't want to defend and protect the elderly, the children, and the women of their community. Or they might want to mock certain black people who actually did put in the work to help men like them. See, because like even if it's a brother of African descent and he dealing with a racist person that's not white but not black, like it's other non-white individuals, right? And a lot of them are down with the power. They down with the white hoods. You understand what I'm saying? You got different types of people that don't like black people. They're not all white. They're not all European. We know this, right? What I'm saying is, let's just say if they Spanish and they happen to be discriminating, against a black man, whether he's an FBA or not, whether he's continental or not, or he's from the Caribbean or not, right? They are protected by white people, the white power structure. So if you call them out, if you challenge them for their anti-blackness, you're also challenging the white power structure and calling them out, because that's what's allowing them to be that way. Whether it's at school or at work or just like, you know, it could be in the public. They're protected by the white power structure, the dominant, you know. So if they doing something harmful to a brother or to a sister or whatever, you're not just dealing with them. You're not just going up against them. So to see somebody who's supposed to be a brother, even though, you know what I'm saying, one of his parents is of African descent and the other one is not, he wants to joke about, you know, bravery or cowardice, and it's just like, yo, certain things are happening in the black community that shouldn't be happening because a lot of brothers is not doing what they got to do as far as protecting the community. And a masculine man, that's his job. That's his top priority. Protect and defend his community. And I'm not trying to be funny, but again, I've already stated, I've been blocking everything associated with certain people. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying, see them in my feed or anything like that. And it's just like, every now and then they'll say something indirect about my life. And it'll be something that I specifically talked about in my own apartment, literally. And I could have said it in here by myself. Like they'll speak on something very, 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 very specific that I talked about in my own apartment. About, like, I'm a realist. You know what I'm saying? I don't fantasize. I don't have little girl fantasies and, oh yeah, I want to go out there and, you know what I'm saying, I want to do my own revolution. No, I'm a realist. Mental problems aside, I'm a realist. And if you can't execute certain things the right way, the only other thing you could try to do is try to work towards a peaceful situation. And not even just for you. You have loved ones. You got a community. You have to think about them. This is about what's real and what's practical. But to see somebody who's supposed to be masculine make jokes about that, it's like, come on now. Come on now. And I kind of broke my own cardinal rule today. Because I would rather much act like certain people don't even exist. It's one of the reasons I stay blocking a lot of things related to them. But I just said one little thing because it's just like, which I'm probably gonna go back and remove anyway. But yeah, a lot of people are privileged. You know what I'm saying? So people don't care about them talking about how they mistreat certain groups of people. They too enamored with, oh, he got muscles and he got this university. Oh, look at all the followers he got. He got the money. You know what I'm saying? God only knows how he got the majority of that money. God only knows. It's like a lot of people are not really about that Christianity conservative life when you see what they don't mind aligning themselves with. But certain people who are real Christians, not me, I'm speaking of something that I'm observing. Some of the real Christians and real conservatives, see, they got a problem with people aligning themselves with folks like that. And I'm watching this in real time on Twitter. Like, y'all just gonna overlook all these things about this person because good looks and money, and they know how to talk and be persuasive and that. Like, is weird flex, but okay. Okay. But yeah, certain dudes have not, you know what I'm saying? They will never protect and defend the most vulnerable within the black community. And some of them don't even want to be a part of the black community, or they don't want to be with a person of the same race as them. And and it's really because they have deep-rooted issues with people of African descent. Like, even I admitted to being a little bit colorist, and how certain things that I went through that was traumatizing caused me to be that way. Like, even I mean, I still bruise if I get hit hard enough. I can still bruise, right? But I would have to imagine that a black person that's lighter than me would bruise a little bit more easier than I bruise. So if I have a child that is lighter than me, but still of African descent, like, people might think twice about, being physically abusive towards that child, because it's going to show a lot. It's going to show a lot better. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. People will be nicer to my child by default. Black males will be nicer to, especially if it's a daughter. They're going to want to hold the door for her while she's holding a bunch of heavy bags by default. Because she's born with a certain privilege. She's more like this side of my hand and not like that side of my hand. And don't let her have good hair. These are things that I've seen. I'm not imagining this. I've seen this with black people. And this is something that we have going on in general. In general. I'm not saying it's right, but it's not gonna go away no time soon. Again, I don't think that kids that are mixed are better than regular black kids. I have beautiful chocolate children in my family. They're beautiful, the boys and the girls. I mean, I have some that are mixed that are beautiful, but I have some that are not mixed that are beautiful. And full of love and got their own nice little personalities. You know what I'm saying? The thing that I think that they have, which is a blessing, they not being raised to hate themselves. They not being raised to feel like they inferior to other types of people. Or people that's lighter than them or whatever. See, they parents learn from other people that was in the family that used to say a lot of ignorant stuff or used to hit kids too much. They hit them more than they hugged them. So they have the luxury of not having to be born into a household that's like that. They have that luxury. And I think it's a positive thing to be black and to be loved. To be black, to be loved, to be born black, to be born into a house of love. And the people that created you will do everything in their power to protect you and defend you. I think it's a blessing that a lot of people take for granted. Excuse me, because not everybody had the privilege of growing up in a household that's like that. And some people still dealing with certain things. They haven't completely gotten over it. And I said this before, a few years ago. Now let's say if I had a whole lot of money, if I was a millionaire or a billionaire, I wouldn't care what color my child was, because I could have a private tutor come and educate my child. I could homeschool my child. My child don't have to be in the public school settings with a lot of other black kids and brown kids who majority of their parents and guardians are raising them to be real hateful and colorist. Let's just say I'm rich and I have a black daughter and my daughter is like really dark. It's not really going to matter at that point because I could afford to homeschool her. I could keep her away from a whole lot of negative energy. So yeah, I wouldn't care if I had a whole lot of money. Hypothetically, if I wanted to be a parent and I was able to be a parent, I wouldn't care. But in the hood, around a whole bunch of black people that got trauma and they was raised to hate themselves and they was raised to, have this disdain and dislike for other black people and black features and kinky hair and, you know what I'm saying? Which is one of the reasons why it's so easy for a lot of black people to be violent against other black people, especially in the hood. They don't try to work with each other to come to peaceful agreements and peaceful solutions. When it comes to dealing with disagreements with other black people, a lot of that is rooted in self-hatred and colorism. Something that a lot of people don't want to get into. Like how quick a lot of us are to be that way towards other black people, but not people from outside of the community. And this is outside of what I got going on. As a former activist, I don't want to feel like my video is all over the place. I kind of think I got everything off my chest that I wanted to get off my chest. And this is the most respectful way I could do it. So, I'll get back with this later.